The first time I realized the HOA could actually take my house, it wasn't a threat yelled in my face. It was a polite little letter taped to my door. It said, "Notice of intent to lien," like it was a dentist appointment reminder. And the reason, no joke, was that I ran my heater above the approved temperature. Maplewood Ridge looks like a brochure trim, lawns matching mailboxes, everything beige in a way that screams, "We're stable." I'd been there about a year and a half, long enough to wave at neighbors and know whose dog hated my garbage cans. Quiet, safe, normal. The kind of place you move to when you want fewer surprises. I'm an HVAC tech, which means winter isn't just cold to me. It's frozen pipes, cracked fittings, flood damage, insurance nightmares. So when a brutal cold snap hit and the nights dropped into the teens, I did what any sane person does. I set my thermostat to 72 and went to bed. 2 days later, I came home from a service call and found the paper on my door. A $300 fine. Not a warning, not a "hey, heads up, a fine." I read it twice, waiting for the punchline to show up on the next page. It didn't. It just quoted some rule number and said I violated the seasonal heating limit of 68 degrees. So I called the HOA office expecting an adult conversation. I got Linda Parker. If you've ever met a Linda Parker, you already know how this goes. Smooth voice, tight smile, you can hear through the phone, and an attitude that says she's doing you a favor by allowing you to speak. "Hi, Linda," I said. "This fine has to be a mistake." It was 15 degrees outside. I set my heat to 72 to prevent my pipes from freezing. There was a pause, the kind that isn't confusion, it's enjoyment. "Mr. Brooks," she said, "Homeowners Association standards are very clear. 68 is the maximum during winter season." "Okay," I said, "but how would you even know what my thermostat is set to?" She didn't hesitate. "We completed a thermal compliance survey. Your unit was flagged." A thermal compliance survey. Like I'm running a secret casino in my living room, not making sure my kitchen doesn't turn into an indoor ice rink. "So you're scanning homes now?" I asked, trying to keep my voice level. "We monitor community standards," she said with that sugary tone. "It's in the covenants you signed." I pulled up the paperwork that night, thick stack, tiny print, the kind of document nobody reads until it's too late. And yeah, the limit was there, buried in a section about energy responsibility like it was a moral value. What wasn't buried, though, was another clause: maintenance responsibilities. The Homeowners Association was required to keep the meeting building and common facilities in working order, including mechanical systems. That mattered because I'd been inside that building's mechanical closet before. The HOA's little meeting hall had an aging forced air system that wheezed like it was allergic to winter, and I'd fixed it. Not as a paid job, as a neighbor. Last year, the heat died right before a board meeting, and someone knocked on my door because you do HVAC, right? I spent my Saturday replacing a pressure switch and cleaning a flame sensor, got it running and told them not to worry about it. It felt like community. It felt normal. Now the same people were charging me $300 because my house dared to be warm. I emailed Linda back, short, professional, no drama. I asked for an appeal hearing and a copy of the thermal survey guidelines. I didn't get guidelines. I got attitude. "The fine stands," she replied. "Failure to comply will result in additional enforcement." A week later, the additional enforcement showed up: late fees, another warning, and the little phrase that makes your stomach go hollow: lien. That's when it stopped being annoying and started being serious. A lien doesn't just sit there. It follows your house like a shadow. Refinancing, selling, even just feeling safe in your own place, it all gets messy. So yeah, I did the boring, frustrating thing. I paid it. I hit submit on my phone, watched the payment confirmation pop up, and felt this ugly mix of rage and embarrassment. Like I'd just handed my lunch money to a bully and thanked them for the receipt. After that, I played their game. I set my thermostat to 68. I wore a hoodie indoors. I kept one eye on the weather app like it was a threat. And for a while, it worked. No letters, no fines, just this tense quiet where you're technically fine, but you're living like you're being watched. Then May rolled in, and something happened that felt almost scripted. I get this email blast subject line in all caps because, of course, it was urgent community meeting location change. Linda wrote that the meeting hall was temporarily unavailable due to mechanical issues, and the next board meeting would be held outdoors near the pool seating area. She didn't say the heat is broken, but I could read between every single word. My neighbor Jason texted me 2 minutes later. "Dude, is the building's heater dead again?" I stared at my phone and laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. It was the kind where you exhale and realize the universe has a sense of humor. Later that afternoon, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered, and I didn't even have to ask who it was. "Mr. Brooks," Linda said, like she was calling to offer me a promotion. "We understand you have experience with heating systems." I leaned against my kitchen counter and let her sit in the silence for a second. And I said, "We need the system inspected," she continued very carefully. "If you could stop by and assist as a member of the community." There it was, the exact word they use when they want labor for free community. I looked over at my thermostat, 68, like a reminder. "I can absolutely help," I said. "My service call fee is $150. Diagnosis only. Repairs require approval and a written work order." Her voice tightened. "This is an HOA matter." "Right," I said. "So it's a paid matter. I'm not doing free work for an organization that fines me for keeping my own pipes from freezing." Silence. Then sharp and sweet. "Are you refusing to support your neighbors?" The thing about that line is, it makes you want to defend yourself. It makes you want to explain, justify, beg for understanding. I didn't. "I supported my neighbors," I said. "I'm refusing to be used." She hung up. The next day, another email blast went out, this time with quotes from contractors, dollar signs, and that special HOA phrase that makes everyone's blood pressure spike: special assessment. Linda claimed the cheapest replacement was $13,000. $13,000 for a building that's the size of a decent garage. Then she added the math like she was doing us a favor: $200 per household due within 30 days. And people started asking questions. Real questions. The kind Linda couldn't smile her way out of. Erin Walsh. Quiet woman across the street, always polite, always watching hit. Reply all. Erin's a real estate attorney, which is basically a superhero in a neighborhood full of contracts nobody reads. She wrote, "Just confirming this is the same building Mr. Brooks repaired last year at no cost. The same Mr. Brooks who was fined this winter for setting his heat above 68 during extreme temperatures." That email hit like a match in dry grass. Suddenly, everyone remembered the fine. Not because they cared about my comfort, but because it proved the board wasn't protecting standards. They were controlling people. Mark Davis, the retired engineer, 2 houses down, replied right after Erin. He attached screenshots, actual market comparisons, contractor estimates from nearby companies, the kind of receipts you can't talk your way around. He wrote, "These quotes are inflated. Also, why are we replacing the whole system before exploring repair? The board needs to provide bids and meeting minutes." Linda tried to regain control the only way she knew how, by turning it personal. She emailed me directly, not the whole community. "Your refusal is increasing costs for everyone. If fees rise, that's on you." I stared at that sentence for a long time, not because it convinced me, but because it was so familiar. It was the same tactic, just dressed up: make one person the villain, then punish them until the crowd joins in. I didn't write an essay back. I sent 2 lines. "My rates are attached. If the Homeowners Association would like a professional service agreement, I'm available next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Then I forwarded her email to Erin and Mark, not as revenge, as evidence. By the end of the week, the $200 per household magically became $320 because of unexpected ductwork issues. That's what happens when you sign contracts in a hurry with no transparency. And that's when the neighborhood flipped. Erin and Mark started a recall petition: simple, legal, clean. They weren't yelling in the street. They were collecting signatures at mailboxes, at driveway chats, at the dog park. Linda called it a hostile takeover. She told people we were undermining community unity. She even tried to accuse Erin of conflicts of interest, which is hilarious when your own job is literally conflicts of interest. The meeting day came, and it was 90 degrees outside, the kind of heat that makes plastic chairs feel like frying pans. They set up folding tables near the pool, and Linda sat in the middle like a judge with her binder and her little gavel. Yes, she had a gavel, trying to look powerful while sweat darkened the back of her blouse. Neighbors showed up, angry and quiet. Not loud, not chaotic, focused. Linda opened with her practiced smile. "Let's keep this respectful." Erin stood up. "Respect goes both ways," she said. "You used thermal scans to fine residents. You withheld bids. You pushed special assessments without proper disclosure. Mark stepped forward and held up printed emails. And when questioned, you retaliated. Here's proof. Linda's face went stiff. This is misinformation. I didn't plan to speak. I honestly didn't. But when she said that misinformation after everything, my hand went up. I have one thing to add, I said, and my voice sounded calmer than I felt. I paid a fine because I didn't want a lien on my home. That fine wasn't about community standards. It was about control. Linda snapped her head toward me. You agreed to the rules. I agreed to live in a neighborhood, I said. I didn't agree to be monitored like a factory. That's when the vote happened. Paper ballots, simple count, no drama, until the numbers came in. Linda lost, not by a little, by a lot. And you could see it the moment her power evaporated. She held her binder like it could protect her, like the paper itself was authority. Erin didn't smile. She just nodded once and said, "Effective immediately. This board is dissolved pending reorganization." Linda opened her mouth like she was going to argue, then closed it, because there was nothing left to stand on. I walked back to my house, slowly feeling the air move differently, like the neighborhood had exhaled. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt clear. And the next morning, my thermostat went back to 72. Lesson learned: when someone uses rules as a weapon, the only fix is making sure they don't get to hold the weapon anymore.